The following program is intended as an educational program, not as investment advice or as a recommendation to buy, sell, or participate in any investment vehicle, product, offering, or strategy. Investment advisory services are offered through Turning Point Financial, a registered investment advisor. Any references to specific securities, investment vehicles, or strategies are intended only as examples, not as recommendations. All investments involve risk, including the possibility of losing money. What if your financial goals and your deepest convictions were perfectly in sync? Welcome to episode 112 of Money and Mission, here on Holy Family Radio, WHYF, AM 720, where each week we talk about wealth management built on a foundation of biblical wisdom and principles. I'm James Good.
And I am Eric Tereo. And you know, we're surrounded by so-called financial advice every day. But how much of it actually helps you become who God wants you to be?
Yeah, not much.
Not much. But today, we're going to bridge that gap between your bank account and your heart's calling.
And each week we take some financial headlines and just sort of dig into those. Sometimes with clarity and focus, and other times we just have fun with them. But that's just the beginning. We'll also see if we can stump you with our weekly trivia later in the show, and then we'll spend time diving deep into principles and practical strategies that help you manage your wealth with a clear conscience and a kingdom focus.
Yes. Well, new week, new news. So let's jump into it. Where would you like to start today?
Well, what is this? There is a Whopper.
Aha. I'm glad you started here.
Yeah. A Whopper with cheese. It is sitting right in front of me here.
I've got about a third of a one left.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, Joe's got one. Eric, you have one. I mean, what is the deal? It's apparently Burger King. Now, I did not verify this story, okay, but it's on Fox Business.
Yeah, their lifestyle category.
Their lifestyle.
That was the news category.
The news from the lifestyle category was Burger King's Whopper guarantee.
Mm-hmm. Yep. If they miss the mark.
If they miss, what does that mean? If they miss the mark.
If you're not satisfied.
If you're not satisfied?
So it seems like their CEO's kind of had enough. He's heard enough of the complaints and stuff from customers that they need increase in satisfaction. So now they're going to guarantee your Whopper.
Wow.
So I hope you enjoy yours. If not, don't fret.
Just take it back.
Just take it back. I'm not sure exactly when all this is going to kick in.
Oh, yeah.
But it says that, you know, if you're not happy with your Whopper, they will immediately make you a new one. And they'll also give you a little code you can scan to get a free classic Whopper on your next visit.
Well, the note here says that they will provide a QR code inside the box to claim a free classic Whopper.
Yeah, I assume that would be on the corrected.
Classic.
Yeah.
So if I like a Whopper with cheese, that may not be part of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
you might have to pay that 40
yeah.
cents. Well, inflation might be 80 now. I don't know what it is.
That's right. Okay, folks, listen.
I don't know all the details, but they'll give you another Whopper.
That's right. We saw this on Fox Business.
But how good is that? If you're not happy with the Whopper, why do you want another one?
That was what I was going to say.
Right.
Okay? We know what Whoppers taste like, right?
For decades.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't like the Whopper and they're going to give you another one, what is the point?
What is the point?
I see a lot of abuse here.
How do you know if you're going to like that one?
That's right. Every time when I eat at Burger King with my mom, she always says like how the Whoppers were back in the day. She's like, they were They were this big, the size of your head.
Yeah.
And like now they're just, bigger sandwiches.
That's right.
Not
You know
like
what
they
I
used to
wish? I wish they would have that kind of guarantee when you fill up your gas tank.
Oh,
If this doesn't last as long as you think it should have, come back and we'll fill you up for free.
or my 0 to 60 time wasn't as good as I wanted
That's
it
right,
to be.
yeah.
I didn't want a new tank of gas.
Yeah. All right. Well,
But they're trying to do something. And also one thing I think is interesting, they're going to be introducing new employees. They're going to be dressed in distinct uniforms.
distinct uniform.
And their title are going to be called Your Way Champions.
Yeah.
dedicated staff who'll be there to greet you, help you with your order accuracy, and resolve any issues that you have with your Whoppers.
So stop in at Burger King and see.
Working at fast food is bad enough.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how these people are going to feel now?
Yeah,
Right.
you're a greeter, you're QC, all in one,
All this.
customer support.
Yeah. So anyway, you know what I really
Isn't that just called the manager?
yeah.
I mean, isn't
right.
that called the manager?
Yeah. I don't know. Remember, Joe, a couple years ago, Holy Family Radio did a thing over at Texas Roadhouse.
Yes.
And you, if you came over and ate dinner, or
We got a
ate
little piece of the, I think 5% of your bill. Yeah.
that's right. When are you guys going to do that again?
Next time we're hungry.
Next time.
I love Texas. I was there just a week ago.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to set that up. I'll have to remind Russ to set that up again for
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, who knows? Maybe we could do a money admission episode from Texas Roadhouse.
There we go.
That
Yeah.
would,
That'd
that
be
would be
cool.
that would be a lot of
That
fun.
would be good.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we're way off track here.
But don't abuse the policy. Hopefully,
Don't-
this will be a good thing. Enjoy your Whoppers. If they
Yeah.
mess up, they'll make it right.
That's right. Yeah. And if you don't like it, you know, go back to the Big Mac.
Yeah.
Right.
And I didn't even ask what the price of these were. Should we be talking about a Whopper index now?
We should be talking about a Whopper. We should be talking about a Whopper index, right?
I seen 3 Whoppers on the table. I know that wasn't cheap.
Go sell some more investments, Eric. So
That's right.
oh my goodness. Well, okay. So the Fed. All right, shifting gears.
Okay.
I wonder if they ever eat Whoppers.
I don't know.
People on the Fed.
They got a lot of pork.
They're,
Boom.
they're people just like we are, right? Oh my goodness, we're in rare form today. Well, Kevin Warsh is the new chair of the Federal Reserve,
Bum, ba-da-da.
and he's kind of dancing around the verbiage in a different way.
Because I remember a couple weeks ago we were saying he's being more tight-lipped.
Yeah,
You know, he's not saying much.
That's right.
He feels he shouldn't air out all the dirty laundry.
he's still not saying much,
He's still not.
but he is dancing.
And the little bit he is saying, everyone is putting a premium on.
Everyone is hanging on every word
That's right.
that the Fed says. So now there's fewer words that they're hanging on harder. What does that mean, right? Everybody would like to know.
It's like ancient Sanskrit. They're
That's
trying
right.
to decipher these 9 words they heard come from his mouth.
Yeah. So, I love some of this vocabulary. So what happens, right, if you don't follow just like the Fed's minutes, you know, and track that.
I'm subscribed.
Yeah. So this, you know, CNBC, there's some other stations out there that follow the Fed and then they report on that. And so they're kind of keying in on some key phrases. Out of that, one of the first meetings, or the first meeting that Kevin Warsh, you know, that the Fed had this meeting, then he came out and did a press conference.
Because with him not saying so much and being so
That's right.
tight-lipped, they're trying to understand what his approach is to monetary policy.
That's right. And he came out and did his press conference, and he said, well, we had a good family fight.
You mean the thing I heard, it almost got physical?
Yeah, that's right. Wow. We had a good family fight.
And they're talking about the shouting and the disagreements among policy and
yeah.
inside of their meeting,
Yeah.
if folks aren't aware.
That's right.
And they call it a good family fight.
Right. And so this is, of course, these people all sitting around and lambasting each other about why we should raise rates. Or
And why the other's the fool.
or why we yeah, that's right, or why we should reduce lower rates. Well, and then he said, inflation is a choice. Of course it's a choice. Like, we print a whole bunch of money, we flood money into the system, and the prices all go up. And
Loaning it out at near 0% for so long.
That was a choice.
Printing money.
That was a choice.
Injecting it into the supply system.
Yeah. So they apparently had the Fed apparently had a good family fight over that, and now, you know, there's this little commentary here on this article. It says, experts view this as Warsh's push for more open, unscripted debate within the FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee. Unscripted debate.
It's a political way to put it.
Were all the debates prior, were they all scripted?
Right, right.
you-
No, your turn.
Oh, you're done. Yeah, you're done. Okay.
You missed your point.
That's right. You should read from your script. These people are running the economy.
Well, this CNBC article was like a mosaic of different quote unquote experts.
That's right.
Giving their opinions on these things, and it was kind of a collage of that.
Yeah, yeah. But this matters, right? Because if interest rates go up, anybody who wants to borrow money for anything,
House, cars, personal loans, business,
anything, right? It costs more to get the money, and if it costs more to get the money, then you don't have as much money to spend, and that slows the economy down.
And it puts you more in a hole you have to pay back.
That's right. Or if you borrowed and you have one of these variable rate loans, then then when rates go up, you just get clobbered.
Or some of these, they have the 12-month 0%, but if you don't pay it all off, it retroactively charges you like 28%.
Right.
For the
retroactively.
Oh, absolutely. If you don't pay, if it's a 12-month or 18-month incentive deal, like, we're offering a special APR rate for 18 months.
Yeah.
They are, but you have to pay it off by 18 months or they retroactively bill you all the interest that you would have paid.
Wow.
In addition to now moving forward, you're continuing to pay 28%.
Wow. Retroactively. Read the fine print, right? Read the fine print. You spend like a day a week in Frederick, right? In the Turning Point office there in Frederick. I was visiting Frederick the other week, and I saw a mattress store where mattresses were being
on credit
financed for 36 months for
6 months for
zero interest for 36 months.
That's like a car loan. It should be a car loan.
That's right. So, I mean, the bottom line really, again, is if interest rates are cheap, then people can buy more stuff cheap. And if interest rates go up, then it costs more to get money, and that's
it's got to like be a 70% rate for 3 years, or that is a very expensive mattress.
Well, there's one thing I really want to get to. We only have a minute to do this. AI companies are spending a mind-boggling amount of cash.
Maybe we'll unpack this a little bit next week.
Yeah.
But they're spending lots of money.
That's right. Lots. I mean, I really want to get this out. That billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, right? Do you know how much $750 billion is?
Tell me.
OpenAI is spending $750 billion. Apparently, if $750 billion in physical $100 bills will create a massive fortress of 7,500 cargo pallets. We really have to do that picture next week. Right?
I think we should, but there's some news we'll definitely get to, and just not enough time for this week.
Not enough, yeah.
Well, thanks for listening. We're going to take a quick break. You've been listening to Money and Mission here on Holy Family Radio, WHYF AM 720.
Welcome back to Money and Mission here on Holy Family Radio, WHYF AM 720, where each week we talk about wealth management built on a foundation of biblical wisdom and principles. I'm James Good.
And I am Eric Tereo.
And our topic today is contentment.
Oh.
What a word.
It's a powerful word.
Contentment. Godliness with contentment is great gain. Right? Mm-hmm. So the Bible tells us, right? Godliness with contentment is great gain. My grandmother used to say godliness with cleanliness. She was trying to get us to clean up after ourselves. But that is not what the Bible said. It said godliness with contentment. And I think this is important because we easily misunderstand what it means to be content.
Oh, easily.
Easily.
Just go outside and you'll see people everywhere thinking they're content. They're not.
Yeah.
People that should be content and are super blessed.
Right.
You see it all.
Yeah. And then we struggle too. Well, if I'm content, if I really work at being content, I mean, how does that work with setting goals? And it just becomes a challenge to try to wrap our heads around that. And
because you think of an Olympic athlete, right? Mm-hmm. Their whole goal was the gold medal, gold medal, gold medal. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for them to be content unless they reach that finish line. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But to be content and to still be on the journey, that is really that's what we want to talk about here today. And but there's several things that come up in several topics that sort of just come up when you're discussing that, and
They're kind of like prerequisites, side effects, even.
yeah, or it's like one thing leads to another. For example, I'm creating goals. I've written a financial plan. I've written a wealth management plan.
So you have an idea where you want to go.
I have an idea where I want to go. I have a vision for where I want to go.
Right. That's important.
Right. What is the difference between vision and jealousy?
I would say that jealousy, you're more worried about other people.
Right.
And vision is you're focused on your goals.
Right.
That are important to you.
Yeah. I mean, really now, Exodus 20. What's in Exodus 20? The 10 Commandments. And what a big one. You shall not covet. Well, oh boy, we get all mixed up in our goals, right? I mean, because I'd like to have X, but I'm not supposed to covet, right? And so...
where's that line of being inspired, motivated, and coveting something?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Kind of like what we were talking about the past couple of weeks. The difference between, safety. What was it with planning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what we said, but we were comparing it. It's like a fine line there. We're not sure what side of the coin you're on.
That's right. We have to go back and listen to our own episode.
Yeah.
That's right. But the interesting thing is when you read the 10 Commandments, you have this: you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not kill. These are like one-liners, and then it gets down to you shall not covet.
And most of them are laws, but covet's not one.
Yeah.
You could sit in your house and want your neighbor's stuff all day long.
That's
right. It's not a crime.
It's not a crime
in the U.S. Code.
Yeah, but
God says not to.
God says not to, and He doesn't just say you shall not covet and move on. He gets really specific. You're not supposed to covet your neighbor's house, nor your neighbor's family, nor your neighbor's business, nor anything. So He feels obligated to go into some detail, right? It's not like the other ones that just, you shall not murder, you shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, etc. It's like, don't covet this, don't covet that, don't. But then again, we live in this world, like you said. I mean, you can sit in your house and look at what your neighbor has all day long and wish you had it,
and feel he doesn't deserve it, and you do, and all these negative emotions that come with that.
That's right. And it happens like really easily. Boom! I was trying to make a little snap.
As soon as he pulls up in that new car, there's that right there.
Yeah, that's right. You see your neighbor starts a business or something, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I should be in business too, right?
Or a big promotion.
That's right.
If you and another manager at your job, and they got selected for promotion, and you didn't.
That's right. Or, these guys have a podcast. I should have a podcast.
It is as cool as you think it is.
It is as cool as you think it is, yeah. So the question is, when you're creating goals for yourself and vision, how do you know that it's vision, right? And not just something that you sort of decided that you want because you see somebody else that has it?
I would start with prayer.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a good starting point.
But I liked what you said, that coveting and jealousy, this happens when we focus on what we don't have compared with others.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely like a scarcity trap, if you will. Thinking that, if someone else is out there achieving, succeeding, and winning, then by default you must be a loser or losing out. And that's not really the case.
And suddenly it becomes a goal. Right. But the goal then is driven not by a sense of purpose, but
a sense of greed and jealousy.
That's right.
And that's not good.
That's exactly right. So, but that's called, really, to put a name on it, the scarcity trap.
That's right.
Right. The scarcity trap is when you think, oh my goodness, there's only so many of those things around. I need one of them too.
But there's plenty of fish in the sea.
That's right. Well, and everything belongs to God.
It's his sea.
It's his. That's right. It's his ocean. It's his pond. So.
And like I said earlier, when someone does pull up, we should feel happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I see people winning, that motivates me and inspires me. Like, look what they're doing, right? They're not Superman.
That's right.
If they can figure it out, not that they're a dummy, but if they can figure it out, then somebody else can too. And if I work hard enough and try hard enough, that person could be me.
That's right. Yeah. And, vision as the antidote to coveting. Vision as the antidote to jealousy, right? When I have a vision for my own life, I have a vision for what God has called me to, then I'm focused on that, right? And I'm so focused that I'm not distracted by what is in the lane next to me. So, this really goes to the idea of being at peace. Proverbs 14:30, a heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Yeah.
I have a quick little scenario here. It's about, let's say your neighbor bought a new RV. Okay, they pulled up in this brand new top of the line luxury RV. One of those with the outdoor kitchen, satellite TV.
Or a Corvette.
A brand new one.
That's right.
But
I like that Corvette. Anyway.
I love it too. Okay. It's not a brand new one.
It's not brand new, but it's very cool. Okay, all right. So the neighbor bought an RV, right?
Yep, brand new. And so, that can make you feel a certain type of way. And there's two paths that you can go with that.
Right.
One, you can get really, really upset about it, all flustered and caught up in your feelings and feel that, man, he's not working harder than I am. I do just as much as he. Why does he deserve it? But that's jealousy, right?
Yeah.
That's entirely focusing on what you don't have. Or you can take the path B of abundance. And this is where you walk over and say, hey, Joe, I love your new RV. Congratulations, right?
Can I borrow it?
Can I borrow that? Can I use it? But that's when you check in with your own vision and you remember that your personal mission isn't about road tripping, but it's about maybe funding your grandkids' education and staying local to serve at your church.
Right.
Knowing what your vision is will be a check against that jealousy.
That's exactly, yeah. Yeah. But it's still tough, isn't it?
Oh, it's super tough.
I mean, because you still have those feelings like...
And I know Joe's going to Yosemite with it. So.
yeah, that's right. So this is, one thing often when we see that, when that happens to us, the one thing that really, really gets missed.
I'd say there's an opportunity cost there of comparison.
Yeah.
Right? You're missing out on what you could be achieving, what you could be growing and progressing towards because you're worried about what others have.
That's right. Yeah. But when you look around and you see everything out there, what you never see is what that would look like if you were in it. And you probably don't realize how many people are looking at you possibly with the same kind of feeling.
That's true.
And so it becomes a trap. It becomes a sincere trap. So vision versus jealousy. Vision versus coveting. Big deal. It's about your heart's direction.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we're about out of time in this segment, so I think it's time for us to switch gears.
It's time for PA Trivia. PA Trivia.
It's time for my favorite part of the show, Pennsylvania Trivia. That's right. Last week we had a great question. In 1904, a pharmacist in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, invented a classic ice cream dessert that eventually became a global favorite. What is it?
Tell us, James.
the banana split.
The banana split.
I actually don't like banana splits.
Why?
Just don't. There's something about a banana. It just doesn't seem right.
A banana in it.
And ice cream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what throws you off.
I just don't think they go together. But a lot of people like it.
You're wrong.
I know.
Okay.
He is wrong.
Yeah,
but he can stick to his strawberries.
Yeah, you're wrong. Okay.
All right, folks. This week's
you guys
puzzle.
are tough, I'll tell you.
In 1903, the Binney and Smith Company in Easton, Pennsylvania, produced their first 8-pack of colorful wax drawing utensils, selling them for just 5 cents. What famous brand name did they create? Joe threw up his arms. Let's see if our listeners know. In 1903, the Binney and Smith Company in Eastern Pennsylvania produced their first 8-pack of colorful wax drawing utensils. What famous brand name did they create?
If you think you know the answers, send your response to Radio Puzzle at wealthdevelopmentcouncil.com, and we'll read the correct answer on the show next week.
We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Money and Mission here on Holy Family Radio.
Welcome back to Money and Mission here on Holy Family Radio, WHYF, AM 720, where each week we talk about wealth management built on a foundation of biblical wisdom and principles. I'm James Good.
And I am Eric Tereo.
And today we are talking about contentment.
And what does that really mean?
Yeah, godliness with contentment is great gain.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that really mean? We've talked about vision and compared vision to coveting, jealousy and coveting, right?
Because if you're convicted in your vision and you know where you want to go and what milestones and what's important to you, you're going to have blinders on to all those other material things that just aren't important to you.
Yeah. But if you're content, doesn't that automatically mean that you're just fine where you're at? There's no point in reaching out for more.
Seems like it, right? If you're content, then
it would feel that way.
Right.
That's kind of our impression. What's your impression of contentment, Joe? It's like,
Now I got to turn the mic on.
that's right. You were kind of content just being there, right?
You've got a roof over your head. You're able to pay your bills every month.
Yeah.
Your IRA is growing, and you're in that comfortable place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, sure. John Doe down the street's got this big, beautiful, brand new RV that you wish you had, but there again, it's his money. He can spend it the way he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're content. But the thing, then when I think about that is really, if I'm content, like what's my motivation for having any kind of goal?
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm content. I've got there, right? There's nothing to reach for.
Nope. So that can be a trap in itself.
That can be a trap in itself. So.
And there's a difference between like contentment and then complacency, right?
Complacency. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I have to give credit here. I belong to an organization called Kingdom Advisors. And if you haven't, if you don't know about Kingdom Advisors, you can look Kingdom Advisors up on the internet, just kingdomadvisors.com. Each month, there is a monthly study group that any advisor who's a member of Kingdom Advisors gets to participate in. And yesterday there was a monthly study group, and we were talking about this very topic. And somebody brought up in that discussion, what is the difference between contentment and complacency? Mm-hmm. And as you said, complacency, or you were starting to say, complacency is...
Well, I'd say the complacency is you're just kind of stagnant, right? You're not really going anywhere.
Yeah.
You might feel you're content or not content with where you're currently at, but whether or not you're complacent is a different notion altogether.
Right.
Because are you making a concerted effort to grow, to do God's work, to get out of the situation you're in that you're not happy with?
Right. Or are you just complacent?
right? Or you're just sitting there and scrolling on social media and
Yeah. So I think,
twiddling them thumbs.
yeah, I mean, I think a core concept here really is that contentment is more of an active state. You're at peace,
You either are or you aren't.
right? You're at peace, but you're active. Where complacency is more of just stagnating.
It certainly is. And one can bring joy, and the other one can bring a lot of regret.
Yeah, I mean, that is the kind of thing where if truly, if you're complacent, this is where you, in hindsight, you look back on your week and you're like, oh my goodness, I just sat,
Yeah.
right? Or you look back on your month and then you regret that you weren't doing something. Which kind of gets us in this little cat chasing its tail sort of conversation, right? Because it's easy to look back and just wish, right? Wish that we had, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But, contentment, again, is an active, there's peace. You're at peace with where you are, but again, you're pursuing a vision and a mission that God has given to you.
Right. And we have to be careful about being content in some cases, right? We've talked a few times about the tales of the talents, where one of them buried his treasure, buried that talent
That's right.
instead of putting it to work. And he was content with that strategy, but God was not so happy about it.
That's right. Yeah. And,
So are we fulfilling his purpose
that's exactly right.
with wherever we think we're content with?
This whole thing becomes very front and center when you look at your financial plan. You go to your advisor to do a periodic review of your financial plan, which you should be doing,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, it's much easier to say, hey, we should review your financial plan periodically. It's much easier to say that than to actually do it.
For sure.
I mean, do you know how many people are like, oh, yeah, I should review my financial plan, and then they don't? That is called complacency, right? Where you're just sitting there going, I should, I know I should, but I just don't do anything about it.
That's the definition of it.
But, contentment, again, you're looking at what you have and recognizing that, again, you're on a journey, you're on this path, you're pursuing some goals, you're pursuing a vision, right? Not because everybody else does it or, the algorithm tells you X, but because it's truly a vision that is in your heart. You're pursuing that. You're content with where God has you and what he's given you. You're grateful, right? Because contentment does indeed stem out of gratitude,
Yes.
right? Appreciating what you have while still working hard from a place of peace for where it is that you're headed.
So what about someone who is complacent, but they're also not content either? Right, that can be a really dangerous combination.
They're not complacent, but they're not content either.
No, they are complacent,
Oh, they are complacent.
but they're not content.
They're not content.
That can fester a lot of negative emotions and where you are in your life, put distance between you and God even.
That's right.
When you're trying to chase down these earthly happiness that we're looking for.
Yeah, the Bible uses terms like, go to the ant, you sluggard. Right? Because, and the book of Proverbs, read the book of Proverbs through carefully. I read the book of Proverbs sort of algorithmically. I wonder, because my brain just works that way, right? But there's 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs, and most months of the year have 30 or 31 days. So it's really easy. If you're not sure where you are, you look at the calendar and say, we're on the 17th. And so today I'm reading Proverbs 17, right? But when you read through the book of Proverbs, there's stuff in there about people not being lazy and, and the benefit of good work. So the Bible talks about that. as well. And somewhere I do remember reading through in the book of Proverbs that it talks about spiritual rot. And I think, complacency just results in that kind of rottenness.
For sure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
But we are called to be empowered managers.
I like that.
Yeah. Empowered managers. And again, entrusted with stuff that God's given us, skills and money management. And that requires growth, not just sitting around and preserving.
Well, I have another example here. Let's look into two different folks again. Another example. One who is complacent and one who is not. So imagine there are two friends, Sarah and Bill. Both are 68 and both worked hard for 40 years, and both have reached a point where their nest egg is sufficient for a comfortable and modest lifestyle, like you were saying, Joe, right? So one, we have Sarah. She's deeply thankful for her home and her health. She is content. She doesn't feel the need to keep up with the neighbors' renovations or new cars. However, she's not complacent. She realizes that her financial margin and her 40 years of professional wisdom are talents entrusted to her by God. Okay, and she spends hours each week volunteering. She set up a small fund to sponsor students at the local school. And then on the other hand, we have Bill. Okay, he says he's content. I'm good. He tells people, I've got my chair, my television, and my pension. I don't need anything else. But Bill has drifted into complacency.
Yeah.
He stopped growing. He stopped serving. And essentially, he's buried his talent in the backyard of his comfort. Right? And so he isn't enjoying that peaceful trust. He is experiencing stagnation that is disguised as peace. And that is a dangerous combination. And he's missing that great gain of godliness and purpose.
Godliness and purpose, yeah.
So, you can be content with these material, worldly things, but if you're still not growing and serving and giving back, I think that is what God wants us to do.
I think one way that you can identify complacency is, as you discussed here, the comfort is there and so on and so forth. But at some point, as you're reflecting on life, you are sitting there wondering, what exactly is the point? Right?
Sure, that's...
What is the purpose of all this anyway?
I think we all think of that.
Yeah. And I mean, if that's you and you're just not sure, just, I would say in prayer, check your heart and check your own planning to see if it's really just complacent. And hopefully...
I like to think of it as the difference between rest and rusting. Right? So God tells us to have like biblical rest, the Sabbath.
Resting and rusting.
But when you become complacent, that's rust. And that's when you're just retiring from the mission entirely before God says you're done.
Right. I never heard it put that way. Resting or rusting.
Use it or lose it.
Yeah. Complacency, as you said, it often feels like peace, but it actually ends up being a little prison.
Ooh, for sure.
Right? I mean, it shrinks your world by refusing to take on new challenges or service opportunities. Your ability to be a steward and to have impact actually atrophies.
And you're not being all that God wants you to be.
That's right.
Well, good stuff so far. We're about out of time in this segment. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll finish with how to go about putting up walls and protecting your financial house. You're listening to Money and Mission here on Holy Family Radio.
Welcome back to Money and Mission here on Holy Family Radio, WHYF AM 720, where each week we talk about wealth management built on a foundation of biblical wisdom and principles. I'm James Good.
And I am Eric Tereo.
And we're talking today about contentment.
A great topic this week.
Great topic, yeah. Yeah, it really is. Some soul-searching stuff. in that.
Are you content? Are you not?
That's right.
If you are, does that mean you're being complacent?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're doing the right thing?
That's right.
Everyone's trying to figure it out.
That's right. And especially when we sit down and we do planning, we have our financial plans, we have wealth management planning, and when we do that, we set goals, right? We have an idea of where we want to be in the future, and the real question is, again, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord. Well, guess what? When I write it all down on a piece of paper, that's exactly what I'm doing. So, yeah. So am I pursuing a vision that God's given me, or am I simply coveting what somebody else has? Am I being jealous and just trying to get here because it looks like the guy down the street?
And one will help you get there a lot better than the other, that's for sure.
That's right.
And one's a sin.
And one's
so we don't want to do that.
That's right. One's a sin and one's not. That's right. It's kind of like building a house, right? I mean, you're putting up the walls, and you put up walls in a house you create a space, a safe space inside the walls, and you're also protecting that space from what's outside of it.
I like that. It says here, Christ is the foundation of that house, your financial house.
Yeah.
But we need to build the walls to protect that.
That's right. Now, Jesus said in Matthew 7, 24 and 25, he said, "Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on a rock. Mm-hmm. The rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew, and they beat against that house, yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock." So when you're building your plans, right?
Just like in regular construction.
The question is, what are the principles upon which you are basing your planning?
And the foundation.
And the walls. Now, so the interesting thing is that money is kind of uniquely... Money is unique.
Yeah, I think I said earlier, I made the joke, I said it's the one thing that can buy all the other sins.
It can buy all the other sins, or it can help to implement amazing, missions and...
That's right. It's just a medium of exchange. It's all about where your heart's at and the purpose.
That's exactly right. Money is a medium of exchange. I said to somebody once, money is not wealth. Money is a medium of exchange. And he said, "I'll take all you can give me."
And I'll be poor with all that medium.
I'll be poor with all that medium of exchange. That's exactly right. But it's uniquely dangerous spiritually, right?
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, Jesus said you can't serve both God and money. And it's interesting that Jesus didn't say you cannot both serve God and have a nice dinner. Mm-hmm. Or you cannot both serve God and, be in great shape over at the gym.
He wants you to have a happy, healthy lifestyle.
That's right.
For sure.
But he did say you cannot serve both God and money. Mm-hmm. So we build this house, and here really we borrow in this segment. We are borrowing heavily from the Kingdom Advisors study group that I participated in yesterday, and we'll use some of the thoughts and some of the questions that were discussed in that study group as our conversation here. But so we're building this house, and we put up walls, and the whole point of the walls again is to create the space inside, but it's also to protect against things like jealousy and covetousness, right, and complacency, and so what are the walls? What are the things we can do that can help us to be moving forward with what God's called us to, but protecting us at the same time from some of these other influences, these things that so easily just kind of creep into our hearts and our intentions. So the 4 walls, right? Mm-hmm. Now, some houses have more than 4 walls, but we won't get into the...
But this is a basic, a very solid and tested and true structure.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, one wall could be gratitude.
Aha. Exercise and develop gratitude.
Exercise and develop gratitude. And, we've talked about this before. But gratitude,
Like the ABCs, right? Accomplishments, blessings, and challenges.
That's right. And building blessings into your construct of measuring success keeps you focused on the blessings in a way that you are constantly building gratitude into your life. Well, this protects you really against a lot of things, but among other things, the storm, if you will, of pride.
Aha.
Right. When I am grateful to God for what He has done for me and the opportunities He's provided, it keeps me from thinking that I did this all myself. Because I'm grateful to Him and I recognize
That your strength comes from God.
That's right. That's right. So, I'm.
So be thankful for God, not just the resource, but your mind, your body.
That's right.
Your mental capacity to take on these challenges.
That's exactly right.
It's the whole package.
That's right. And especially, I'm sitting and reviewing my financial plan. Maybe I'm sitting and reviewing my business plan. Whatever the case might be, these are plans that have been put in place, and I look at the progress that's being made, and I count the blessings, and I remember to be thankful to God for what He's done in bringing things along. Right. Well, a second wall is contentment, which we were just discussing.
Jesse.
And again, contentment is so important. It protects against the storm of coveting and the impulse to always have more.
Yeah, like we said, if you are truly content, then it is very hard to be jealous of others around you. And in fact, you'll be happy for them.
That's right. And if you're content, again, you may be pursuing a goal, you may be pursuing a vision, but jealousy and coveting, coveting is even maybe more than just being jealous of, the people down the street who have a better RV or a new RV or any RV at all. Right. I have to tell you, for myself, over the last fall, I was absent a transmission.
You were coveting every Chevy driving down the road.
That's right. Those people have a transmission and it works. Right.
Mine doesn't.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
mine doesn't. That's right.
So for yourself, it's easy to fall into those feelings.
That's right.
Whether or not you truly covet it, but you can see where that comes from.
That's exactly right. So contentment protects against the storm of coveting and the impulse to always have more. That impulse will never go away. Doesn't matter how much you have. There is always an opportunity for you to want more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, what's a third wall?
The third wall here would be trust.
Trust.
And that would be a strong wall. Protecting against the storm of anxiety and worry, fear and doubt. All of those things. A wall of trust will protect that.
Trust. This is such a tough one, though. Jesus says to his disciples at one spot in Luke 12, I tell you, therefore, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or about your body, what you will wear, for life is more than food, and the body is more than clothes. Consider the ravens, they don't sow or reap, they have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. How much more valuable are you than the birds? Who of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life? So since you can't do this tiny little thing, then why do you worry about the rest?
And that's what we were talking about the other week, the difference between worry and planning.
That's exactly right.
So without listening to it, I remembered.
You remembered.
But God wants us to plan, but he doesn't want us to worry and have anxiety.
That's right.
He wants us to trust in him.
That's right. And so this trust, we set forth and we plan, and then we go implement our plans, we take action steps, but we're not sitting around forever worrying about what's going to come next. You get all frozen in place when you're really worried about that kind of thing. Consider the ravens. Yeah, they don't sow or reap, but you know what? They build a nest
They sure do.
right? I mean, birds build nests. So it's not like they're just sitting
They're
around.
not being complacent.
They're not being complacent. That's exactly right. That's right. So much we can learn from that.
So how about the fourth wall?
Yeah, the fourth wall. Well, love is the fourth wall.
Oh, that's good.
Well, that protects us against the storm of indifference that can harden our hearts to the needs of others. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean,
And really pour out.
I mean, it's easy if you're like really focused on just getting stuff and building.
Like the
and
new RV. You're not thinking about the love of others. You're thinking it's me versus them. Right? Me
Right.
versus them.
That's right.
But if
Now-
you build a wall of love,
That doesn't mean that a new RV is wrong.
I might just ask to join them one weekend
Yeah, that's right.
and offer to wash it when we're done.
That's right. Because creatively, building spaces to have memories with family and stuff. All
That's
that can,
most important.
All that can happen with that RV. So, don't judge the neighbor for having a nicer RV because maybe that's part of their vision for their family. But love can protect us against the storm of indifference. And so we have these four walls: gratitude, contentment, trust, and love.
To help not to fall into that trap of being complacent and not being content with where you're at and what God has blessed you with.
That's right. And our final protection is just constantly realizing that our identity is that of a steward and not of an owner. Right? I mean, if we own nothing, we are a steward of everything.
And it's not ours.
And that's not ours. Yeah. Well, we're going to run out of time here.
Yep.
We'll have to
No, I
pick
thought
this
that
up.
was a great topic
That's
for
right.
this week, though. And thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll be back next week. You were listening to Money and Mission here on Holy Family Radio, WHYF AM 720.